Hello audience, welcome to my channel. I want to share my experience of an interview conducted by MindGraph company for the role Java developer for the year experience 2 to 3 years. So in this interview, there are 3 rounds. One is L1, L2, L3, three level rounds. First level, in the first level, they were asking basic level questions like knowledge. They were testing basic knowledge on Java. So I wanted to share my experience and I wanted to share what questions they have asked in the L1. So the first question was explain about your project. So the second question was, how do you show live records? How do you fetch live records from the database? And the second question is WebSockets. How do we implement WebSockets? Third question is, have you used any messaging broker? Have you used Kafka? The fourth question is Null Pointer Exception. And how could you debug that Null Pointer Exception? Fifth question is difference between equal to and equal and dot equal method. And sixth question is scenario where double equals fails to work. Seventh question is difference between HashMap and concurrent HashMap. Eighth question is if your application is deployed, but CPU usage is high, then how do you fix that CPU usage? This was the question. And ninth question is, how do you optimize the APIs in your application? 10th question is, tell something about indexing, pagination and DTO. 11th question is, Redis caching, where do you use in your application? 12th question is, if there are 10 records in a database and the same 10 records in the caching, Redis cache, later if the 2 records were added into the database, then how the Redis cache will understand, how the Redis cache will update? That was the question. And 13th question is, how whole Spring Boot application structure, please implement and show and tell about the structure. How do you followed in your previous projects and previous company? That was the question, 13th question. And the 14th question is, tell about @autowired. And 16th question is, why should you not use @wired annotation and what is the alternative of @wired annotation? And the 16th question is, why we shifted @autowired to constructor injection? And the 17th question is, after deployment in your local system, everything is fine. In your development profile, also everything is working fine. But in production, it is not working fine. And also all the configurations in your application.properties and application.yaml are also okay and good. Then what you will do? This was the 17th question. The 18th question is, have you used MongoDB? Was the question. And the 19th question and the 20th question was a logical question. They asked, the interviewer asked me to write code and show. The 19th question is, write code for department-wise highest salary using stream. And the 20th question is also same, but we need to write a SQL query. Write SQL query for department-wise highest salary. This was the 20th last question. And this was all about the L1. After qualification of L1, and they conducted L2 round. For me, I got qualified for the L1 round, and the L2 round was also 1 hour. L1 round was 1 hour, and L2 round was around 30 minutes, I guess. So I want to discuss about L2 round questions also. What type of projects you have worked on was the first question. And the second question, what type of authentication you have used in your application? Third question is, how did you implement JWT? What was the main key? And fourth question is difference between collection and collections. And fifth question is HashMap in multi-threading. How do you implement? Can you implement HashMap in multi-threading? Was the question. And the seventh question is explain some features of the Spring Boot framework. And eighth question is how Spring Boot application gets started. Ninth question is what is the default port of the Tomcat. 10th question was can we disable the default port of the server? 11th question was HTTP request in Spring Boot. Tell about HTTP requests in Spring Boot. 12th question is request mapping versus get mapping. 13th question is embedded container versus var file. 14th question was what is actuator in Spring Boot. 15th question was @component scan. Explain about @component scan. 16th question was coding question. They asked me to write logic of checking the palindrome string. That was the last question. Then I've qualified for the second round. They have conducted L3 round. It was the L3 round was mainly like half an hour, and there was more focusing on they were focusing on communication, and they were also checking they were also asking tell about your project. They asked me, and in the project while telling my project, while explaining my project, they observed my pronunciation and they corrected me, and they observed the sentence formation. They corrected me, the interviewer corrected me, and they asked about my family, and they asked about the previous company, and this was the thing, whole L3 round. So these three L1, L2, L3 rounds were conducted in online. So I have noted it down every question, and I'm making this video. Please subscribe, like, share, and I will provide the each and every question in the description. You can check there. Thank you.